Yes, I'm back.
Awesome sauce, brother. We're just waiting on you. Come on in the room. We're live. We're okay, though. It's the last day. It's the last day. But it's the first day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The end of a new beginning.
It is still one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. It is the last day, but it's the first day of the new year for us. The first week. We're going into the first of the beginning of this newness that has been expressed during the conversation, the prophetic conversation of Pesach, first fruits. I'm sorry, Pesach, Feast of Unleavened Bread, now first fruits. So we're going to have some conversation, and I think we're going to be real long, though. But this is going to be quick, and it's going to be good. Yeah. I'm so excited about this year.
Right.
This year. Mm-hmm. We already had those invaders of the space, you know. Good evening, Elder Vicky. Good to see you. Love you. And we already had the invaders of our space. That whole concept began before the new year. So for me, that's the announcement. That's the announcement that something is afoot. All right, we're going to get started here in just a few moments. Well, it's 6 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock and it's time to rock. I'm telling my age now. What's that off of? What's 6 o'clock and it's time to rock? Oh, you know what that is? If you're not from Detroit, you don't understand what I'm saying. It just dawned on me what that was. WGPR, that's the scene. I was thinking I was doing Happy Day. That's Monday, Tuesday, Happy Day. That's not the same thing. 6 o'clock, it's time to rock.
Yeah, you're giving your age away on both ends.
Oh my, and it's okay. It's okay because he's been good. He has been good. It's still being good. All right, we're about to get it rolling. Absolutely, Elder. Absolutely. Listen, it's a blessing to be here with you guys this evening. It's an exciting time to be alive. This is the first of months for the sons of YAH, and we have just processed through the first appointment of YAH for the year. We started with Pesach, which was the sacrifice, and then we entered into the feast for this season, which is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Man, we had a good time. The Father talked about some really amazing things. He gave us some really amazing conversation to get us going this year. And I don't take it that this will be any less amazing. I'm excited to hear what he desires to say to us. I've got a couple of things jotted down, but I'm just going to move according to what his desire is, you know, what he wants to do. I've got my brother with me, Apostle Ace, tonight, and I've got you guys on the line that are coming into the room. I'm so excited to have you here tonight, and I pray that you have your pen and your paper and you're ready to write copious notes because, listen, these times are divine times. These times are times that should be captured. And I told you guys, I don't know what happened 5781 because I didn't see anything for Passover or Feast of Unleavened Bread for 5781. That thing tripped me out, but I got the word for it, though. Did get the word for it. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. I want to read the opening here because I think the opening is going to help us to go in the direction that we need to go in. And Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the opening. And we can stop along the way as well if we need to and kind of talk about some of these parts and pieces, but we're going to dive in right now. Throughout history, a multitude of prototypes emerged. Each was crafted to unveil the distinct facets of the divine concept inherent in mankind. They served as proof of concept models. They illustrated the grand design from its inception through the iterative refinement, all aimed at conveying a profound idea of Yah. Each iteration validated the design. It certified also for all who embraced it the concept of sonship. Yet the ultimate prototype, the Mashiach, bore the weightiest cost, a testament to Yah's profound belief in the worth of mankind. As we navigate our own prototype stages, our design approaches may vary. However, they are tailored to our individual purposes, yet through testing and refinement, we will emerge as proven products ready to bring Yah glory. In the grand scheme of creation, the journey towards sonship in the kingdom of Yah mirrors the meticulous process of product design and development. Just as new products undergo several prototype iterations before reaching the production line, humanity itself progresses through stages of refinement and transformation on its path towards realization. And I just want to say right here, this is one of those areas that the enemy kind of rides in on. In the realm of manufacturing, the stages preceding the release of a product are known as alpha, beta, and pilot. Each stage represents a crucial phase of testing and validation aimed at ensuring that the final product meets the desired specifications and standards of quality. Similarly, in the kingdom of Yah, the journey towards sonship unfolds through a series of iterations, each stage a testament to the refining work of the divine craftsman. Just as alpha testing involved in internal testing within a controlled environment, so too does the journey of sonship entail introspection and self-examination within the confines of our own hearts and minds. That's the area where the Father is really dealing with us internally. We only get to that introspection and self-examination after we've been searched, and things start being revealed to us. As we progress to the beta stage, the focus shifts to external testing and feedback. So now we're in the environments, and now we're going to get feedback from the environment based on what's happening in us, engaging with the world around us to refine and improve our character and our purpose. Likewise, in the journey towards sonship, we are called to engage within various environments, learning from our interactions and experiences to deepen our understanding of ourselves, our God, and our place in the divine plan. Finally, in the pilot stage, the product is launched into the world for real world testing and validation. And similar in the kingdom of Yah, the culmination of our journey towards sonship is marked by our emergence into the world as fully realized beings, ready to embody the divine ideas and principles we have internalized through our interactive process of becoming. Thus, the concept of our convergence in the kingdom of Yah is not merely a static endpoint, but rather a dynamic process, a result of the countless iterations that have come before us, each contributing to the unfolding narrative of humanity's journey toward fulfillment and purpose in the divine plan. Let's talk about it, brother. From concept to reality, the eighth day sons, and this is the first fruits, 5784. This is first fruits, 5784. What say ye, brother?
Oh my goodness. Holy shalom and first fruits to everybody that
Yes,
is here. It's been a wonderful feast of unleavened bread, and I'm telling you, there are many things that are happening right now, even as we speak.
yes,
At the end of this, of course, I thank y'all for each and every one of you, you, and you too. I
yes,
just thank
Lord.
God, Yah, for each and every one of you, and to the host. Apostle. It's just been wonderful. I've been enjoying this every day. the
My God.
expectation, the manifestation of things is right here. And so it is just so powerful. The conversations that's been shared and all the comments, and it's just been wonderful. I'm just full, and it's
Yes.
just wonderful and marvelous in our sight. So it's just wonderful, and so even as we come to the time of coming to the end, but yet a beginning. It
Mhm.
is really truly exciting, and as you were sharing in the opening, my thoughts quickly, Apostle, went to some things, and just gonna,
Yes,
we're
sir.
going to throw
Yes, sir.
something, throw it out here, and
Yes,
connect some
sir.
dots.
Yeah.
Connect some dots because coming into sonship. And
Yes.
so I'm like, oh my goodness, it took me back to Genesis, Genesis
Yes.
chapter 1 and chapter 2.
Yes,
We
sir.
got the 6 days of creation,
Yes.
6 days of creation, and each day of creation is an era, and it's
Mm.
interesting. Certain things happen in those era of time, 6 days of creation. When did we come into sonship? The seventh day.
Yes.
That was the
Yes.
beginning of sonship, the
Mm-hmm.
manifestations of things. And so I said, oh my goodness, yes, this
Yes.
is when we came. This is the beginning of sonship. Who? Adam. And he
Mm.
breathed into his nostrils and put him in the garden in a heavenly place, the beginning of sonship. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh yes, this. So we're looking at the beginning of sonship, where we're at now of coming
Mm-hmm.
to the fullness of age, at the end of age, but the fullness of time, sonship. We come into the
Yes.
fullness of sonship because the seventh day didn't have an evening in the morning. So that was the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. That was the after that had no end. So, but yet the manifestation of sonship began to come forth out of this. I'm just thinking. So then when I go to look at Revelations, you
Come
look at
on.
Revelations, and we go to Revelations chapter 2 and chapter 3, and we have the seven churches, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and everything is based upon when people do ministered and oh, we're going to read about this, we're going to read this. This is 7 day church, the eighth, not the eighth, but the first and the second. We do the seven churches, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, but it says seven because they don't realize that even when we read chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 of all these eras of the house of
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh, and
Mm-hmm.
and 1 through 6 is based upon 1 through 6 of the days of creation,
The
and then
beginning.
we go into sonship,
Yes, sir.
completion. And it's interesting that how we connect to that, but interesting in each of those eras,
Mm-hmm.
there is the number 8.
Yes, sir.
Oh, he
Yes,
said,
sir.
he who have overcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, in each era, there was a group that have overcame. Not, see,
Mm-hmm.
he said, I have a problem with each era.
Mm-hmm.
Each day of creation, there was a problem.
Mm-hmm. Had to be
That was a
fixed.
problem. It had to be fixed. So now when he come into the seventh day, the holy day, we come into
Mm-hmm.
sonship. So he said, now I'm getting ready to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ready to
Yes, sir.
fix it. So it's about completion. We coming into full complete knowledge now. That was the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. Now we come
Come on.
into full complete knowledge now
Mm-hmm.
with the sons of Yah.
Mm-hmm.
See, all
Yes,
in
sir.
between, they didn't get it all. We get the full completion. And even the secrets and the things that has been hidden
Mm.
from us
It's
from the
all.
beginning. So I look at this in each era, and each era in Revelation chapter 2 and chapter 3, and
Mm-hmm.
and so I just want to read one, in the first era, chapter 2, verse 11, it said, he who has an ear, let him
Mhm.
hear what the Spirit is saying to the called out one of the house of Yahweh who have overcome
Ah, come on
and
now.
will not be hurt by the
Mm,
second death.
yeah, come on now.
He who overcome. See, in each area they had to those who overcame in those areas, he said, now that you've overcome, it's not overcoming you anymore. You overcome it. So now when you
Mm,
overcome it places you in a whole different category of something
that's it.
secret that the enemy don't even know. And that's
Come
the
on.
number 8.
Come on now.
Because
Come on.
every number that except the number 8 is not broken. It's infinity.
It's
So it's a
infinity.
new beginning. In each era, they have overcame. He that have an ear to hear what the Spirit is saying to the call out ones,
That
you have to
ones.
overcome. You have to overcome where you at. And so now when we talk about overcoming in the fullness, and so when you say here's this number 8, so now
Mm.
here's this number 8. One is still 8 is one,
It
new
is one.
beginning, completion. Here, 7 don't go nowhere. But here's
Mm-mm.
8 attached to what? One more make 8. So now we're coming into eternal infinity of things. Now it
Yeah.
is now 8 doesn't have an end. 8 doesn't have a
Mm-mm.
beginning.
It's
It's just a
perpetual.
continuation,
Yeah.
perpetual. And so
Yes.
as you were talking about this, and so my mind went back to the beginning,
Come on.
now to the fulfillment of an end, bringing us back to a beginning, to restore, to redeem us back to the very beginning.
Come on now. I love it. And you know what I love about it is this 8th day sun. We come into the understanding that everything that is given, we know that we receive all things that pertain to life, living a godly life, right? Everything that we need, we already possess it. But the beauty of that is the understanding and the revelation that everything that's been given to us is in seed form. Nothing is in its fullest, nothing is in its full form. It's all in seed form.
Mm,
So we have to become
mm-hmm,
cultivators. We have
mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm.
become farmers. You know what I'm saying? We have to
Mm,
be tenders
yes.
to soil. Okay. We have to
Mm-hmm,
become
mm-hmm,
something that we may not have thought. I hear a lot of people talking about they got a black thumb. Well, you can't have a black thumb and be in the kingdom because everything about who we are has something to do with seeds and plants and growth and,
mm,
and
mm-hmm,
ripening, fullness of time, and all of that. All of those concepts are divine concepts that we must
mm-hmm,
master
mm-hmm,
and overcome because it is the will of the Father for us to have this revelation of the seed, that being his
mm-hmm,
word.
mm-hmm,
The seed is the
mm,
word of God.
mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about this because you got to understand when I talk about when I'm talking about from concept, let me get back to my thing here. I'm on a whole nother page. When I talk about this thing about concepts, listen, I'm still new to what he's wanting to talk about too, so don't look at me. Don't look at me like that on live, okay? But y'all, from concept to reality, listen, this is a conversation he had with me today, okay? So I'm not going to remember everything he said. That's why I'm writing things down as he's talking to me, and that's why I've, created the image of this thing so that it can communicate to me. But when we're talking about that from concept to reality, it's about who we're becoming because we were never a concept in his mind. We were an idea. We were
Mm-mm,
his vision. We were a dream. It
mm-hmm,
was something very
mm-hmm,
concrete, something very solid.
mm-hmm,
And his desire is for
mm-hmm,
us to come into the 8th day of sonship because, and what you said was just so powerful because you can't get to the 8th day until you go through the 7th. If you never arrive at the 7th day and understand what the 7th day was about, then you'll never become an 8th day son because he said these are things that are solid. These are foundational things. And if he did it, what makes us think we can't do it or we're not supposed to do it? The Sabbath is a real,
mm-hmm,
even though we have got this master who mastered it all, and we can master it all because we can enter into the rest of Yah perpetually now. But it doesn't negate
mm-hmm,
the fact that he desires a Sabbath day because it's a moed. It's an appointment.
mm-hmm,
You know, even
Mm-hmm.
if you enter into the rest, that is still an appointment to be kept. So when you enter into that rest and you understand that this is his desire, this is his will concerning mankind. He, as the manufacturer, knows what is necessary for mankind. And a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
we have misunderstood, very much so misunderstood, because we have all these other concepts about things and all these other ideas about things. This is where these, signs came from, because we're talking about the signs in the heavens and the sun and the moon and in the stars and all that. But he's also given us earthly signs
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
direct. And this is what the Malachim, this is what the angelic agencies were all about. The watchers were all about, assisting us with these signs, helping us identify things and see what the Father is saying, because our concepts are creating our reality. These concepts are not things that are concrete. We need to get to the idea of Yah and not just the
Mm-hmm.
concept. You understand what I'm saying? Where we deal in concepts is when we're going through the processes of things, or when we're taking things through processes. So thus, this background here, this was a concept. It was an idea, but I wanted to change the concept of it. So I'm using the word concept in a different light to reflect that if it was only me on the screen, what that would look like. And I didn't save it for the second time this week. I didn't save this thing. But what it took me back to, these are signs for me. What this took me back to was Yah saying to me that regardless of whether you think a thing is ready or not, it's going to go as it is, because the word has to be released. And you're not going to take all this time to do this. We spending time, so you're going to have to let this be. You understand what I'm saying? And it took me back to the conversation that we had in Feast of Unleavened Bread, where I was sharing with you guys that the world, how the world system operates, how they do things, they don't get hung up in perfection. There are models of things and concepts that they put out that we absolutely hate. You ever got a phone and you absolutely hated it? You like, this is dumb. I don't even like the way this works. I don't even like the way the screen does what it does. You get a piece of clothing, you say, this is stupid. Why would they sew this like this on the inside? It's all these things, but what they did not do was wait. But they did perfect. They did begin to change the concept, or take the concept through iterations, until they got to the place where they were satisfied and the market was satisfied with it. They began to share the concept of a thing, right? An idea of a thing. And you bought into the concept or the idea. And even though it looked like it fell short, they still had a plan, a strategy to get to the end of a thing. And so, the Father talks about the children of the world being wiser than the children of light. Why they got all of this and that and the other thing, and why are they doing this? Because they don't wait. Their God gives them a concept or an idea of something, shares the mind of a matter, their mind over the matter of a thing. And they say, oh, let's do that. Oh, no, it ain't going to look right, but we're going to throw it out there. We're going to do that. That's what I love, this phrase that we've been saying all week. I'm just going to throw it out there. We just been throwing it out there. Why? Because this is what Yah's
Right,
saying.
right.
This is what he's saying. We're going with it. Okay. We're going with it. I'm not going to tell you to have everything under control right now, that I got all the ins and outs of what he just said, because there is always more to identify with when he speaks a word. It's so multifaceted. I mean, it's so endlessly faceted. You know what I'm saying? There are dreams that I had many years ago that I'm just now getting more revelation about the dream. All these years later, I'm getting more revelation about the dream. Why? Because when he speaks a word, it covers so much territory. It's just an endless amount of secrets and revelation. And I believe this is one of those things that he's launching us into this year. We're going to talk a whole lot about the mysteries, a whole lot more about the mysteries and the secrets of Yah, because there's some things that he wants to reveal to us. And this is what first fruits is all about. I was going to put on the screen something along the line of the eighth day sun, Yah's gift to mankind, right? Because this is a concept that we really have to get, that the Father never requires something of us that he didn't give us first. I love that. I love that, because when he's asking you for something, he's already given it to you. So why would we not want to give back to him what he's given to us? This is the whole concept around first fruits. He's saying, listen, before you do anything else with that, before you take that and do this and move around and matriculate in all these other areas, he said, give me mine first. You know, listening is an imperative, brother. We were talking about that while I was coming to this space. Just talking about the fact that people don't like to listen. You know, we've entered this age where people just, they already know. You know, I've heard people say things like, can't nobody tell me something I don't already know. Because you're a prophet or a leader or something like that, that statement alone puts a cap on you. Because we're ever learning. We're ever becoming. So how could nobody tell you something that you don't already know? It's a very arrogant idea. It's a very arrogant place to be. You understand what I'm saying? So listening is an imperative. You know, it's an earmarking of sons. That's setting ourselves apart to hear what Yah is saying, keeping our ear to the mouth of Yah. It's an earmarking for service. This is how we go from the concept of who we are to the reality. Now, understand, we were his idea, we were in his imagination, we were his dream. However, we entered the world, and as we were entering the world, we came in contact with dirty things. We came in contact with compromised things. You understand what I'm saying? And in that compromise, we became compromised. So now we are on our way, and we're going through these iterations of sonship and iterations of who we are, identity, and all of these things to get to a place where we are clear. We're in the 8th day. Now, that doesn't mean we stop becoming, though. We don't ever stop becoming. Yet we want to get to the 8th day. We want to get to that place of kadosh, okay? Because that is the earmarking for service. The Father, he releases us into the earth. There's the training, there's the interview or the testing, the cleansing, and then the promotion. And nobody wants to go through the process, right? We just want to jump right in. And you don't understand that the weight of that kind of glory will crush you. You can't just jump right in. You got to walk through the process. You got to walk through the process, but most people don't like the process. I can say, I said it on a live many, many years ago. I hate the process, but I'm yielding, Father. I hate it. And I shared that with people because I wanted them to understand that even leadership goes through things where we don't quite understand everything that the Father is doing. You understand? However, we have to be willing vessels. We have to be willing vessels. And I said this week, I feel like I'm in training because how he's moving and what he's doing, it's like, okay, let me put you here. Let me see. Okay, go ahead and respond to that. Absolutely. Prophet Giselle, good to see you. Go ahead and respond to that. Okay, that's good. I like that response. That's real good. Good job. Y'all don't know that the Father really does, he does applaud us when we are operating optimally. We're operating in a way that shows maturity and that we're bearing fruit, right? He's excited about that kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying? It took me, brother, this whole concept of first fruits today and the 8th day sun took me to Shemini, which is one of the Torah portions. Shemini means 8. And it's in Leviticus chapter 8, ironically. Go to Leviticus chapter 8. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 8, and I'm going to go to around verse 30 something. I'm going to tell you in just a minute, as soon as I get there. I got a million windows open. Let me see if I can open another window. If somebody I love dearly is listening, I'll be like, Lord have mercy. Not another window. Leviticus 8. Like, oh, Lord. If you know me, you understand why this is a problem, okay? But you know what I found out? I found out that my mother has the same problem. It's so funny. But we're educators. We're teachers by nature. So when you're on a study path, it's just instinctive that you're going to continue to move along the line. You're not going to get rid of what you've already processed through. You're going to keep it to go back to it. That's probably them texting me now. Absolutely. They're laughing at me. Okay, let's look at this. Leviticus chapter 8. I want to show you this place of coming into, because we've now been deemed after the Mashiach's sacrifice, kings and priests. So we're both kingly and priestly. okay, in this kingdom. And so look at this. This is Leviticus 8. And, you know, Leviticus deals with the laws of the Levitical priesthood and all of those things. And so let's look at this. Okay, let's start at verse 33. I want you to read this in your own time so you can identify even greater with the connections that we're making here. I think we're going to be able to give it to you clearly, but I want you to read the entire thing yourself. It says in verse 33, and ye shall not go out the door of the tabernacle of the congregation in 7 days. For 7 days is really, okay? Until the days of your consecration be at an end. Are you listening to this? For 7 days shall he consecrate you. Are you listening? As he hath done this day, so Yah hath commanded to do, to make an atonement for you. Look at this. Therefore shall ye abide at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation day and night, 7 days, and keep the charge of Yah, whatever he's commanding, whatever he's given, that ye die not. For so I am commanded. So Aaron and his sons did all things which Yah commanded by the hand of Moshe. Do you see that? It said that he said, stay, abide at the door, because see, there's something that's happening in that abiding, in that place of abode. There's something that's being shaped. There's something that's being formed. Okay. There's something that's being prepared. He said, stay there day and night for 7 days and keep the charge. This is the process. You're going to walk through this process. And as you're walking through this process, you're being cleansed. You're being prepared for the elevation. If you go to Leviticus chapter 9, I want to show you something else. Let's go there. And then, brother, you jump right on in. Leviticus chapter 9. Let me see. Yeah, let's start with verse 1. It says, and it came to pass on the 8th day. Wait, we just left the 7, right? And it came to pass on the 8th day that Moshe and Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. Let me read that again. That's what it says. And it came to pass on the 8th day that Moshe called Aaron, and his sons, and the elders of Israel. That's the word I missed. He called them. Okay, this is Moshe calling Aaron, his brother, and his sons, and then the elders of Israel. And he said unto Aaron, take thee a young calf for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering without blemish, and offer them before Yah. Look at this. 8th day. Priestly office, dedicated, consecrated. Now we're getting ready to move in something, okay? Before we're sitting or we're abiding for 7 days, and the preparation for where we're going, the preparation for the manifestation is getting ready to take place, is underway. But on the 8th day, now something is getting ready to happen. Now something is getting ready to move. New beginning, something new is getting ready to take place. It says, and unto the children of Israel thou shalt speak, saying, take ye a kid of the goats for a sin offering, and a calf and a lamb, both of the first year without blemish for a burnt offering. Now he's giving them the instructions. Remember what I told you. The instruction is important. Listening is an imperative in this season. 5784, we don't have time for a bunch of questions. He's not looking for sons that's going to be asking a bunch of questions about what he's saying do. That's a disobedient, rebellious son. I'm dealing with some of those things in some people that I'm close to right now. And I'm saying, I've never seen some of these activities, the way this movement is happening, but I understand it's a result of the way someone is being reared. You understand what I'm saying? Where you got to repeat yourself more than once. Why? Because they've become comfortable with the repetition of things instead of becoming comfortable with the result of having someone repeat it. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm old school. I come from the place of I'm not going to repeat myself more than twice now. I'll give you if you didn't hear me the first time. But the second time I said, and you still not moving, or I need to repeat it, listen, that's a whole nother situation. So look at this. He said, also a bullock and a ram for peace offering. So he's giving them all of the things that are necessary to do. The sin offering. This is what you do for the burnt offering. This is what you do for the peace offering, right? To sacrifice before Yah. And a meat offering mingled with oil. For today, Yah will appear unto you. Brother, say something, because I'm about to run. I'm about to run.
Well, you can go ahead and run too. Well, listen.
The place under the table that I'm sitting.
This is something because you're doing the happy feet, huh?
Yes, I'm doing the happy feet.
You know,
I Yeah.
it is so imperative for us to truly understand seven and what's
Mm.
contained to get to eight, what
Oh
eight
my
is
God.
all about. You
Mm.
know, and so you know, there's something that I wrote some years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it started where it stated what I wrote was your faith is connected to your imagination.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when
Mm-hmm.
you was talking about that, about the image and what here's Yahweh's faith. He says,
Yes.
now here's my thoughts, and I'm going to create. And said so. Yeah, he said. Then I said, I will. He said, I did. So faith and
Mm-hmm.
imagination came together. Then
My.
to so it's interesting because the created man has some flaws.
Come on. Come on.
The created man was not. He was the concept. He was the
Mm-hmm.
concept, but y'all had in mind already how to perfect it.
The idea. Yeah. The idea was already there, but it
Right,
became a
right.
concept through birth.
It became a concept, and so faith and imagination came together. Then he said, "Oh, now let's make it a reality." So
Yes.
so now here's the beginning of a created man that had
Mm-hmm.
some flaws. So y'all said, "I'm gonna put him on the wheel.
Put him on the wheel.
I'm gonna put him on
Mm.
my wheel and redo him. I'm gonna
Mm.
redo his body. I'm gonna redo him and do his
Mm.
mind all at the same time. I'm gonna begin to perfect. Here's something new now. Here's a
Mm.
brand new man. The old man has passed away. Behold, all things become new. But there
Dude.
was something that entered in that place where we call the garden to just okay, that's new. That's bring now that's your perfection. But we're gonna bring something
Mm-hmm.
there so that that which is new have an old mindset of where it come from. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness. So
Yes, sir.
now as you were saying, here's the 7 day consecration. I'm a consecrating,
Mm.
consecrating,
Mm.
consecrating. Here's of atonement. Eighth
Mm-hmm.
day. Eighth day it
Mm-hmm.
is it's a new it deals with your body, your
Yes.
spirit, soul, and body. You know why I know?
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you why I know. Because when Yahweh
Mm.
told them to on the eighth day circumcise the baby,
Come on. I was going there. Let's go.
on the
Let's
eighth
go.
day so I've done many eighth
Yes.
day circumcisions with babies.
Cutting
And
away.
a eighth day circumcision baby is
Mm.
unlike any baby that's not circumcised or circumcised after the eighth day. Because,
That's right.
my first one, I said, now, what happens physiologically to the baby
Come
on
on
the
now.
eighth day? Because we
Come
read
on.
about it, and I'm like, what's the science to all of this?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Come on.
asked the,
It's all
the
about the
Jewish
breath.
surgeon. He said, no. He said, this, on the eighth day, the blood you got to
Yep.
capture it on the eighth
Coagulate.
day because the blood it coagulates and it shifts. So when
That's
it
it.
does that, the baby doesn't feel pain,
That's right.
and you can take the skin off, and now it's circumcised. It doesn't bleed. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yep.
and so now I'm watching this.
That's it.
We read the reading and prayer and everything. So I'm watching this, and there were some people there thought they were gonna see a lot of blood. Some people were about ready to faint, couldn't
Mm.
take it, left out, and I'm like, I'm looking, I'm like,
My
oh
God.
my goodness, look at
It's
Yah.
amazing. It's
It
amazing.
is truly because that eighth day does
Yeah.
something to the lifeblood of an individual.
Yes, it does.
Ah!
Yes, it does. Come on now. Come on.
It changes
Mm.
physically, emotionally,
Yes.
spiritually, what
Come
it
on.
does. Oh my
Come on.
goodness. And
Come
so
on.
so we talk about that eighth day. That
Yeah.
eighth day is so important, but you can't, you have to perfect. See, some of us want the promise in an unperfected body.
No, no. No,
But y'all
no.
say,
We
I
can't
gotta,
have
yeah, no, my promise is
that.
perfect, but you not
Mm.
perfect. I gotta get you perfect for the
Mm-hmm.
promise. So when he perfects us, then there's a change that takes place, and we truly can say that the man I was, the woman I was, I'm not that way anymore, because now my heart is circumcised.
Yes. Yes.
I am brand new. So with the understanding of what he's going to take us into, because he brought Adam into the garden, which is agriculture, seed time, dealing with all of this. Not everything about what you got here is new. It's new to you, but it's not. You got to understand. There's the concept in the sixth day of creation. He said, "Eat everything with seeds in it."
Seed
We got that. So now on the seventh day, on the seventh holy day, is greater than that. Even though they got seeds, it's greater than that. I'm coming into fulfillment of. I'm coming into fulfillment. So come on now, because here's the promise. This is going to cause you to live even longer. But I'm gonna give you something, because you could destroy the seed time. But I'm not going to let you do that, because when you break my law, you break my command, I'm not going to let you destroy this. I'm going to put you back out where you came from. And now you're going to have mental issues.
I'm going to put you in another space, and that's going to cause you a mental situation for real.
I'm just trying to figure it out. Try to come up with a new concept and how to get things out of the ground that is holding back on you and fighting you, resisting you on every turn you get.
Because you gave your dominion over to another.
Absolutely. But so that consecration, first fruit. How are we when it comes down to first fruit? Because that first fruit deals with the newness, the eighth day. First fruit is one. Remember, I said first fruit is one. It's a tithe. First fruit is a tithe, but it's 8. It has no ending. It has no ending. Where are we today? Oh my.
And it's so funny because this unique mantle, brother, that I was talking about, that the Mashiach bore, was this task that was about a divine appointment, that he was entrusted with this pivotal role of redeeming the bloodline. He was a breaker of ancestral bonds. So whatever that issue was that was in the blood before, we came into the identity of this 8th day sonship, that was broken. The price was paid. It was broken. And we see the same concept in the prototypical sons that were before him, because we, just as he, was a convergence of every son that came before him. Even down to John. This is why they thought, oh, John and raised from the dead. This guy doing some stuff. We really shortchanged John all the time. Because why would they think that Mashiach was John unless John was doing miracles? But we don't know of the miracles because they weren't discussed. You understand? But the only way for them to associate the Mashiach with John is if John was actually doing miracles.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so there are things that are secrets. There are things that weren't told, but he was a convergence of every son that came before him. Every son, Moshe, Noah, Joseph, those who embraced him find liberation. Those who embraced them found liberation, a divine freedom that transcends the confines of this worldly system and the tyranny of injustice. The same way, those that embrace us as the sons of Yah, the sent ones of Yah, find liberation. I have shared this scripture over the years, so many years. And it's the scripture that discusses understanding the having an identity on the body. What does it say? For this cause, many are sickly and many are asleep. Many are asleep and many sickly, many are weak. Because they don't discern the body. Understanding the persons that you're interacting with. Understanding. You remember that second part of that process of the pilots, that second process of the prototype, where
Mm-hmm.
the environment outside of the prototype now has to respond to the prototype. It has to be put in an
Mm-hmm.
environment for it to get a response, right? And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in this structure that they call the church, the industrial complex of the church and religion, people are not taught really to focus on that. They're taught to do good deeds, right? But they're not really
Mm-hmm.
given a focus for relational dynamics, divine relational dynamics, and how that is a currency in the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
That concept is lost on so many, right? But this is a part of that becoming, where we're dealing with the internal first. Now we got to deal with the external, because the
Mm-hmm.
internal, once that's straightened out, then the external should be, it should work out. It should work out a certain way. It should have a certain outcome. And that external also, like I said, it teaches us. And David made statements like this: "It was good that I was afflicted."
Mm-hmm.
He had to be
Mm-hmm.
processed. The same thing happened for Joseph. He had to be processed. The affliction of his external environments gave him a clarity on his identity. And it also gave him an opportunity to express his character in the matter. So you say, well, David, he missed it. Oh, David did this and that and the other. But David never repeated the same offense twice. David identified with the external environment, said, okay, that hurt. We were talking about pain earlier. That hurt. I'm not doing that again. And I repent, meaning I turn away from that. I'm not going back down that road again. That cost me too much, And we live in an age where people want to mask pain. They want to mask it, and they don't want to feel it. They just want to mask it. And I'm telling you that the masking of pain does not bring the healing of the physical body or the mind or anything else. It is not the place of healing. It's just the place of masking. That means the issue could be growing, it could be thriving, it could be reproducing, and all of these things, but you would never know it because you're hiding it instead of addressing it. And this is the essence of first fruits. We're going to unveil these divine precepts that are going to propel us into this unfolding dimension of the new year, of the next, of this perpetuality, the perpetuity, the life that the Father desired, this new life, this new era of who we are as man, this new iteration of us that goes from concept to reality. That's a product that is marketable for the Father to be able to use that to bring himself glory. Say something, brother.
Ooh-wee. Yes, ma'am. Listen, Apostle, listen. So the eighth day man in this time. And so when I think about the eighth day man, and so you're talking about pain. The eighth day Son of Man is coming to the fullness.
Come on now.
Because there were things that they had to do physically. Yahweh said, now spiritually, this is going to be done. We got to get this spirit. We got to understand the concept and the physical. So now the internal is done. Then it reflects the external. Because so many times as we were going through, we experienced pain.
Yeah.
But when we become an eighth day, overcoming the eighth day, we don't experience the pain because we don't have to mask it anymore. Oh, did I do something to him? It don't hurt. I'm not bleeding. What's happening to them? Because it's an eighth day, because what it has done and it has prepared us. We have overcome, and that we've gone through, haven't overcome us, don't overcome us anymore.
That's it.
And so now we overcome it. We have mastery over it instead of it over us. So therefore, being an eighth day son, we don't have that pain as when in the beginning, because spiritually, inwardly, he's done some things within us. So it protects us on the outside. And so therefore we're not going to feel the pain anymore. We're not going to feel that type of suffering anymore. We're not going to
Come
feel
on.
the mental anguish anymore. We're not going to feel
Come
that
on.
heavy resistance. Yes, we're going to have it, but we not. They're super natural now.
Come on now.
Oh my goodness. And
Come
so,
on.
I'm just as you were talking about that, and so in
Excuse
Leviticus,
me, Mr. John.
I know I shared with you earlier that I may
Mhm.
not be, I can't, I may, there's something else I got to do, but I want to read this
Yes,
Leviticus chapter 25,
I was
verse
going there.
20. Oh,
That
you
was
were
next.
okay.
Come on with it, brother.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Come on with it.
oh my goodness. Verse 20. And if
Mhm.
you say, what shall we eat in the seventh year if
Come
we
on.
do not plant or harvest our crop? Oh
Come on
my.
now.
Verse
Come on.
21. I will send you such a blessing in the sixth year
In the 6th
that the
year.
land will yield enough for the next 3 years.
That's
So we
good.
got to
That's
understand this. When the X was completed with the solar eclipse,
mm,
the eclipse, and we went
yes.
into a different state. So now we got to understand what's going to take place in the next 3.5 years based upon the eclipse that's going to take place in Jerusalem
Yes.
2027. So we got three and a
Mm-hmm.
half years that the two witnesses is going to come forth in the next 3.5 years with mastery and what have you. But this is what
Yes.
y'all said. This is what I'm going to do for my. You're going to reap enough. So what are you reaping? What you have you reaped in this, what you sown in the sixth year, you're going to have
Mm,
enough of it for the next 3 years. Did you
mm,
sow
mm,
evil? Did you sow
mm.
righteousness?
Come on now.
Verse
Come on.
22. While you plant during the eighth year,
Come
you
on.
will eat of the old crop and will continue to eat until the harvest of the ninth year comes
Come on.
in. The ninth
Come on.
year, new
Come on.
life, the eternal fruit of the Spirit.
Come
Oh
on.
my
Come on now.
goodness.
Come on. Come on.
So here's something that was physical and is still in place today because there are farmers that understand this concept of understanding that if I plant on the sixth year,
Mm,
that I'm not, for the
mhm.
next three, everything is going to grow. It's going to come back. It's going to come
Yeah.
back. So come back.
Mhm.
So y'all said you don't have to beg for nothing. This is what you're
You ain't
going
got
to
to
do.
beg for nothing. That's it.
You have to. I'm going to provide for you. I'm going to provide. I'm going
That's
to
it.
provide enough for you, your household, your manservant, your maidservant, for the widows, the
That's it.
orphans, the stranger, and everybody going to be able. But supernaturally, this is supernatural miracle things that's going to take place in front of people's eyes. And so
That's it.
spiritually, the inheritance. He said, "I'm going to give you an inheritance for the you." Listen, you won't even have enough room to receive.
Come on now. Come on. Mm, mm, mm. Listen, I put in the comment section. Here's what I put in the comment section, brother. We go from following the law to becoming the law.
That's
And
it.
following the
I'm.
law is
I'm.
painless because it's breaking something in you. But once you become the
Absolutely.
law, there is no more pain. That's why you go from not asking a bunch of questions to just following instructions and then getting the revelation as you go because you trust him at that point. It's all
Ooh-wee.
about following
Ooh-wee.
the instructions. Following the
Ooh-wee.
instructions. It's very simple. It's not difficult. He's saying this is a year where you're just going to follow the instruction. That's all you got to do. Let's go to Exodus real quick. I'll let you have the Leviticus 25. Exodus 22. Because I want to talk about a concept. I want to talk about a concept that the Father is detailing for us right now. I want you to write this down. The Joseph Principle, 7 years of plenty store up. Absolutely. Exodus 22, verse 29 through 30. I think I'm just going to read those two verses. You go read the rest in your own time. Did I close the window? I did. Okay. Let me open up a new window. Exodus 29. Don't laugh at me. Blue letter by. Ooh, don't laugh. I'm opening up another window. Exodus 22. All right, let's look at this. I want you to see something. There is a principle called suddenly. A lot of us understand suddenly because the Father's been talking to us about the and suddenlies of things, right? But he said, I want to give you another principle. Now I'm going to connect the dots. I want to give you a principle that's going to lead you to the suddenlies. And I'm going to tell you what that is. Okay? It's called immediately. Are you ready? It's called immediately. We've been talking about it. Not asking a bunch of questions, but when he says a thing, just immediately moving on that thing. Now, this might look stupid. No, immediately. Okay? Look at this. Verse 29. Thou shalt not delay. What does that sound like? Immediately. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits. We're in the first fruits, right? And of thy liquors, the firstborn of thy son shalt thou give unto me. Likewise shalt thou do with the oxen and with thy sheep. 7 days. Here we go with the 7 days again. It shall be with his dam. And on the 8th day, thou shalt give it to me. That phrase just does something for me. That phrase, give it to me, is an immediately situation that causes a suddenly. Give me back what I gave you. And this is the catalyst to the blessing of suddenly. This is the catalyst to the 8th day. This is the catalyst to the new beginning. Look at what it says here. And ye shall be holy men unto me. This is setting you up for something. Neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs. In other words, you're going to be so holy to me that certain things are just beneath you. As it pertains to flesh, certain things are just beneath you. We know something about the flesh of an animal, but there's so many mysteries in the scripture. I'm just going to bring something out of that. Ye shall eat any flesh. The consuming. We talked about the consuming in the garden, not just being fruit. So you got to be able to identify the conversation that's not explicitly spoken. Any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field, anything that's compromised, you're going to give that to the dogs. You're going to leave it for the dogs to eat. You're not going to touch that because you've processed through the 7 days. Because of the process through the 7 days, on the 8th day, giving it to him, now that's going to position you for another lifestyle. You talked about the 7 days, right? I mean, the 8th day, the circumcision, and the Ruach HaKodesh. This child gets to experience, and we're talking about from a Hebrew perspective. Why? Another reason why they wait till the 8th day is so that child can be alive for one Sabbath before that 8th day. They're gonna get to live through a Sabbath before they get to the 8th. You understand what I'm saying? Spirit and truth. It's a clean dwelling. It's a foundation of new beginning. Do you recognize that 8 is the number that yields the produce of 6 days of work and 1 day of rest? It's a new dimension. Adam and Eve entered that 8th day, which would have been almost their very first day in this place called dominion. In their royal capacity. They were officially in their royal capacity on the 8th day. You got to understand that the 7 days is like a womb. It's a womb that keeps you. It's a womb that allows you to be formed. And I was thinking about something before I got on, brother. And he said to me, the matrix is just a womb. It's not a permanent residence. I want you to get that, because I told you that many of us go through different trials, different tests, different ways of creating these different iterations of us, right? This different space of becoming for us. But you got to understand that those matrices are just wombs. They're not permanent residences. So he gave me a definition of matrix as a thing that holds you or houses you temporarily while you're being formed and getting to ripeness for use or selection. This is a YAH definition. Apostle Crystal definition based on what he spoke to me. A matrix is a thing that holds a thing, houses it temporarily, allowing it formation to ripeness for use or selection. So the question is, in this seed time and harvest, this 8, Genesis 8 talks about seed time and harvest, right? We're talking about numbers the other day. And so you're going to identify with a lot of different things this year because the Father's revealed some things and he's opened some things up to you. So even how you read the scripture is going to be different. Even how you see things is going to be different because of the secret things that have been revealed. You got to go back and listen to some things over this for this season and do that. But seed time and harvest, what are we asking for? And then what is the action that goes along with what we're asking? You understand? So for a furniture person, they say, well, I need tables, right? I'm just doing it from a place of antiquity, an old mindset, right? I need tables. Well, the Mashiach was a carpenter, right? So if they needed tables, what did they have to do? What was the action? They had to get the wood that was born of the tree and begin to cut into it and shape it and form it and fashion it into the particular table. You say, well, I need fruit. Okay, so what do you need to do? You need to go to the store and purchase it, or either you're going to grow it yourself, and that's going to take some time. You know, you're going to have to go through the process of seed time and harvest and all of that, right? I said this before, and I'll say it again because I think this is very crucial for us in this season. Everything that Yah gives us, it comes in the form of a seed. But I want you to understand this as well. And I think we've talked about this as well. We talked about the door the other day, and we talked about our relationship to the door, right? But we didn't talk about was you as a door. The Mashiach is the door, and we are a door. Doors are people related, okay? Doors are people related. So you got to be mindful of the doors that you're entering into. The specific doors. What are those doors? What are they related to? Everything that looks like an opportunity is not an opportunity for us. But doors and opportunities are related to people. Who are they? What is the character? What is the fruit? Okay? That's important. And so I hear somebody saying, well, how are we going to call ourselves the door? We didn't call ourselves the door. We called ourselves a door. The same thing that the Mashiach did is what we do as sons. That was his purpose, was to be the sacrifice, the final sacrifice, break the bloodline curse, and then show us the way to live that glorified the Father. That was his purpose. Okay? So this means only through a sinless, priceless vessel can man get to the Father. That includes you. Well, how does the Father make us sinless? To make us priceless vessels, because we come through the Mashiach. We accept the finished work. We say, okay, I realize that that was paid for, so I don't have to live like that. I realize that that was handled, so I don't have to function like this. As things are brought up, we deal with the things that are brought before us, and we don't go back to those things because we've been given another opportunity as a new creation to live a different kind of life, right? So you say, well, how can you call yourself a door? The scripture says, how can they come without a preacher? How can they come where? Not to the church. That's not what it's talking about. They're talking about coming into the kingdom. They're talking about coming to the Father. How can they come without a preacher? And then it says, and how can the preacher preach except they're sent one? Sound like a door to me, right? So now you got to deal with functionality. And that's what these iterations of us is about. Following the divine path. Choosing the ancient path. That's something that's already been proven. We're talking about this product, this outcome. It's already been proven. You understand what I'm saying? The Mashiach, his resurrection was during this feast time. It wasn't Easter, y'all. Easter was a iteration of pagan rituals that came long after. Okay? This was the time of the resurrection. This time right here that we're in. First fruits was the resurrection. Okay? So we got to identify with that resurrection and what that meant for us. That meant now we have victory over death, over hell, and the grave. And the final enemy to be dealt with is going to be dealt with through us, and that's going to be death. He showed us how to do it. See, he was the prototype. He walked through all of the iterations and the convergences of those that were before him, and he showed us the whole picture, the whole package. Now we've got to walk that out. We've got to deal with functionality because we've got to strive for mastery now. The prototype is proof that the concept is viable. But when the concept is proven viable, then it's put in a race, right? It's put in a place where it has to go through its processes and be seen and be weighed. So you got to run the race with patience. Why? Because you understand that you're in the race to win it. You're not in the race just for the sake of huffing and puffing. You have trained for this. There is no option but to win. Brother, before you get off of here, somebody brought up to me that they wanted to talk about the rapture just a little bit more, and then we're going to turn y'all loose tonight. And so I pulled up Matthew 24. Can we go there really quickly? And then you can run with that. Matthew 24. Okay. And the reason I pulled this one up is because I would love to talk about some more about the immediatelies and suddenlies, but I'm going to leave that alone. I introduced it. You go find it. Okay. Matthew 24, verse 29 through 31. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened. I want y'all to hear very closely, because remember we said people don't read what's written. They only read what they've been told. Okay. And it's a lot of people that say that there is going to be this rapture, and you're being raptured right now in your mind. Okay. To hear a new thing, to hear the divine idea that puts you in a different position. But from what I remember, translation and ascension is what the sons did. Right, brother? Translation, right? Okay. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. There's a lot going on here. We're dealing with the sun, the moon, the stars. All of that is celestial. All of that is also the difference between astrological and what's the other thing they do? Y'all know what they do. Astronomy and astrology. Okay. And so we're looking at living creatures and what happens during that time with the living creatures. You know, the stars are related to the angelic agency. So stars falling from heaven have to do with more angelic agencies falling from their place. It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man. We read this yesterday. We're just going back a little bit. And then shall appear the sign, not the Son of Man, but the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Great doing. So the cloud, what is this cloud? I want you to go, I want you to begin to identify with the cloud, because we understand the cloud of witnesses, right? And we understand that the cloud has to do with a group of some kind. And we have already established that the sons of this age are the sons of manifestation that are going to do the work or finish the work. And that upon the appearance, that rise and that shine, our light is coming, the glory of YAH, the doing of YAH has risen upon us. That's something for us to do. This is that coming of power that's going to be seen. And it's also, I believe, connected, brother, to the witnesses. Okay?
Absolutely.
But it says here, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect. Wait a minute. Because y'all said we was gone. Wait a minute. Hold on now. I'm going to go back to the top. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. The stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. The powers of the heaven. We know that the adversary is the prince of the power of the air. In other words, the influence through words and frequency and all of those things. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. The sign, not the sun. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great doing. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. Didn't say he was coming. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. They're gathering the elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. We've seen ascensions and we've seen translations. Enoch was translated. Elijah was translated. Even Moshe was translated from one dimension to the next. And there were many sons that identified with some of these things, even spiritual identity on these kinds of translations. But then we saw the Mashiach was ascended. And we also saw Moshe ascend at the mountain, right? So when a thing is called what it is, we don't have any more speculation. Because it's only a result of what was sown and harvested. And that's why we're getting the results. Say something about that rapture, brother.
Well, yes, it's really something because, and I'm gonna say this, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says God. So many times I used to think, how is it that He's gonna get all our attention all at the same time? I'm trying to get. I was trying to understand that years ago. How is He going to do this? And so you read and what have you, and we hear. I used to hear, there's going to be an awakening. That the rapture. So you try to understand what that rapture is, and so you begin to come into the understanding. What the rapture is an awakening. And so because understand the religious complex system, what they were trying to do is trying to manipulate. Let's get Bibles in all the remote areas and let's colonize people so that Jesus can come. That's what they were saying. So Jesus can come and everybody will hear this. So they can hear everybody know this gospel.
This gospel.
Absolutely. So what about the gospel? Come on now. And so I'm like, how is this going to be done? So you read in Revelations and things like that. So it'll begin to tribulation, how He's going to get an understanding of what's going to take place in the earth globally to the people. I'm like, wait a minute. So I began to think about the global revival, and it was one of those years. It was talking about the revival. One of those years in the last 4 to 5 years. Okay, about an awakening. And I'm like, there's going to be a global revival, awakening. How is that going to be done? How is that going to be done? And I'm like, wait a minute. So as I began to read what He was going, in chapter 9 of Revelation, what was going to take place, what was going to be released into the earth from the pits of darkness, and it's going to begin to what it's going to do to the people and everything. I said, he's getting everybody's attention. Everybody's going to be awakening through this tribulation, through this thing that's going to take place. Everybody's going to be awakening with this fact that, wait a minute. So now the dots are connecting. You're listening to news reports. This happening in this country. That's happening in that country. This happening in another country. Everything is happening globally around the world, and nobody can do nothing about it. I said, "Ooh, this is a global awakening. This is a revival, being revived, waking up." So, I said, now you're getting our attention. You're getting our attention. And it's interesting that, as you were reading about the four winds, what is going to take place with the four winds, with the sons. Because, when you go to Ezekiel chapter 27, and I'm not going to read about the dry bone, about the bone, but I'm just going to read one or two verses here in verse 9 and verse 10, because all of it is wonderful. But he said, verse 9, and he said to me, prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, son of man. Hear that? Yes. Son of man. And say to the breath, this is what Father Yahweh says. Come forth. Come forth from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain so that they may live. So I prophesied as he
Yes.
commanded me. And the
Mm-hmm.
breath came into them,
Ah,
and they lived. They stood up on their feet,
mm,
and an exceedingly vast
great
army.
army.
So,
Mm,
so now the son of where we at now, he said, prophesy to the
son of man.
winds. This is
Mm-hmm.
son of man. This is
Uh-huh.
what this we're seeing all this a part of the awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we see this awakening that's take place. And so where I want to go last is First Corinthians
Yes, sir.
chapter 15 and verse
Okay.
51. It says, behold, I show you a secret truth. We will not
Mm-hmm.
all sleep,
We will not.
but we will
Uh-oh.
all be changed.
Mm.
See, people don't understand we are in the first resurrection now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why? Because people are being changed.
That's it.
We were not all asleep. People are being awakening.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
We
sir.
that's the first this is the first resurrection. We coming from a dead
Yeah.
sleep until being awake.
That's
In a
it.
moment, in a twinkling of an eye, the last
Mm-hmm.
trumpet, the sons of men will begin to blow into speak
Yes.
and prophesy to the
Come
winds.
on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come
The
on.
trumpet will sound, and the dead will rise incorruptible, and we will
Mm-hmm.
be all changed. Wait a
Come
minute.
on.
We will all rise at
Mm-hmm.
the last trumpet. So I'm like, what? Oh, the Son of Man, we're the trumpets. We've been the trumpets.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the
Come
seventh
on now.
trumpet is going to be heard because people didn't pay attention to the first six trumpets.
Mm-hmm. So that's an
But it's the last.
iteration.
Come on now.
Come on now. That's an iteration of breath. That's an iteration of the Ruach. That's an expression, a new expression,
Yeah. Yes, yes.
which is related
And
to these
so,
that are being gathered from the four winds in the heavens. This talks about an elevation. Okay.
mm-hmm. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
Okay.
and so, verse 53, for this corruptible must put on
Mm.
incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality.
Yes,
What?
sir.
We talk about immortality in a mortal body. So the immortality, which was who we are, it comes
Mm-hmm.
emerge and it takes over our mortality, our flesh, and so our flesh becomes supernatural based on
Come
submitting
on.
to the immortality, to who we are, immortal on the inside.
My.
Oh my. 54.
Mm-hmm.
So when the corruptible has put on incorruption and the
Yes.
mortal has put on immortality, then will be brought from the to pass, there will be brought from the past that saying it is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Oh death,
Where
where
is
is
your
your sting?
thing?
Shallow, the grave. Where is your victory? Now we have victory
Come on now.
over death. I'm not
That's
scared
it.
of death anymore because we
That's
got
it.
victory. So therefore, being an eighth day son of man, I don't feel the
Mm.
sting of death anymore.
Yes.
Because when we
Come
was
on.
going through the pandemic, people were feeling the sting of death because
Ooh, they
death
were
was
afraid.
released from the pits of the earth. Oh my
Ah,
goodness.
come on now. Come on. The angel of
And it
death
said,
was released.
come on now. And so
Mm.
the sting is sin, is death. And the
Mm.
power over sin is the law.
Yeah. Come
Ooh
on now.
wee.
Ooh wee. Ooh wee. We about to turn
Uh,
y'all
uh,
loose. We about to turn y'all loose because I'm
uh,
about to run. I want to say, I think I want to say one more thing though.
Apostle,
Because
I got to go.
I have to
And
go. We'll talk in a little bit. We'll talk in a little
I
bit.
got my, I want you to release. I'm going, I want to be with concordance with everybody. I got my juice and I got my unleavened bread. So
Absolutely.
just release me
Absolutely.
to eat and drink. Okay? Can I do that?
All right,
I'm
let's
just
all
gonna do
grab
it.
it. Let's all grab it while he's doing it. Let's all grab it. We're gonna eat and drink. We're not gonna have no conversation about it. Y'all know this is in remembrance of him. We're gonna eat it
Uh,
and we're gonna drink it.
uh,
We've already had the conversation, so let's do it.
mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the transformation of the 8th day sun. All right.
Mm-mm.
Love you,
And I want
sir.
to
We'll
say
talk
to
in a little bit.
listen, I want to say to everybody, I love you all, brothers and sisters in law. Love you forever, Apostle. Talk to you in a minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right,
Shalom,
shalom,
shalom, brother.
shalom.
Yes. My God. You guys all set over there? Listen, I'm not going to hold you much longer. I'm not going to hold you much longer. Anybody got any questions? While we're on here, y'all done said a whole lot. I wasn't looking at nothing. Let me see. Yes. Okay. I love y'all. I love you. I love you. I love you. It's the immediatelys for the suddenlies. Can y'all write that in the chat room? It's the immediatelys for the suddenlies. Yes, yes, yes. The immediatelys for the suddenlies. If you can't do immediately, you can't have a suddenly. That's just where we are. The Perusia. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. All right. All right. I'm going to turn y'all loose. I'll be around somewhere near. Y'all see the signs on the screen here. One of the things that you're going to have to be able to do in this hour is to read the signs. You have to be able to read the signs and follow the instruction. You know, I put bridge out over here because what we look like driving on or speeding through a space where it says the bridge is out. You know, you got to be able to give way. You got to understand, do not enter. We talked about the doors. You got to be able to yield. You gotta slow down at times. You gotta stop. It's a whole bunch of different signs. I want you to go look them up. This is a prophetic gesture. I want you to go, as a prophetic gesture, I want you to go look up as many signs as you can find, even the stoplight, you know, flashing yellows, whatever. Go look at a bunch of signs because I want you to allow the Holy Spirit to speak to you about those signs from a natural perspective relating spiritual things in your life in this season. Because we've got to be able to identify what the Father is saying. We got to be able to identify it. We got to be able to know it when we see it. You understand what I'm saying? You got to know it when you see it. Listen, I love you guys. Blessings to the house of the sons of YAH. Thank everybody for being here with me during this time. This has been amazing. I got a whole lot more to say, but I am going to release the line and allow the Holy Spirit to continue to speak to you about the 8th day sun, going from concept to reality. Love you more. And we'll have some more conversations in the days ahead. We'll have some more conversations. I won't be an absolute stranger in this season. I've got a lot to communicate with you guys. And so you'll see me a little more often. Listen, the body is not a me thing. It's a we thing. We on 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do this in order. The body's not a me thing. It's a we thing. Peace to your houses.